What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the That's So Super podcast. I'm Supa, your host, or you can call me Starr. That's my real name. We're going to be having a fun episode talking about Disney movies. And I tell you what, I love Disney movies. I love movies in general. So we're going to be going through a top 10 list of the most iconic Disney movies of all time. And this is according to CBR.com. There's a lot of websites out there. There's a lot of companies that rate movies and whatnot. I just decided to choose this one. And the reason why I chose this one is because they have descriptions for each movie on why they are numbered the way they're numbered. Without further ado, guys, we're going to get this going. So if you guys like this video, if you guys like the podcast, comment down below on YouTube. Let me know, any suggestions, anything that you would want me to talk about, anything you want me to get better at, because I'm just a beginner podcaster and, any advice or constructive criticism is definitely going to help me out. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so you guys know whenever an episode airs or a new video is posted on YouTube. If you guys are watching or listening on Spotify, I appreciate you guys coming through. Please do me a favor and give me that 4 or 5-star review for this show. I appreciate it. Any feedback is welcome. So let's get this show going. Coming in at number 10, Pirates of the Caribbean. I could totally see Pirates of the Caribbean being number 10. So Pirates of the Caribbean brought one of the most iconic characters. They're not wrong about that. Jack Sparrow is probably like one of the most iconic characters in Disney of all time. That's just my opinion. If you guys have other opinions, comment down below or keep it to yourself, right? So let's get to the reason why. Pirates of the Caribbean is a 2000s film that is based on the Disney World log ride of the same name. Although many scoffed at such a film being made, it became a sensation that sparked a franchise. The tale of Captain Jack Sparrow and his lost ship, the Black Pearl, is both adventurous and haunting. Many fans came to see the Pirates of the Caribbean for the swashbuckling action, but stayed for the creepy horror aspects of the story. Pirates of the Caribbean was beloved for seamlessly blending fight scenes, romance, and the supernatural, but it became iconic for creating one of the most recognizable Disney characters of all time in Jack Sparrow. I can totally agree with CBR on this, putting Pirates of the Caribbean at number 10. It could be a little bit higher, but I'm totally fine with Pirates of the Caribbean number 10. Coming in at number 9, Encanto. So Encanto portrayed a realistic family, and that's totally agreeable. I'm pretty sure, like, if you're not of that culture, there's so many cultures out there that relates to this story because it's very, like I said, it's very relatable. I seen a lot of the family aspects in this storyline with my own family and other families that I know of too. So while relatively new to the Disney canon, Encanto is a heartwarming story of a family who is trying to be strong. Though they have faced many difficult losses, the Madrigals do whatever it takes to save face and show a united front to the town. However, the pressure builds. Most of the family begin to question themselves and whether they can keep up their perfect facade. I agree with Encanto being number 9. So Encanto is iconic for many reasons. Its realistic portrayal of family, its representation of Colombian culture, its discussion of generational trauma, and its beautiful and fun music. The songs only add to the family's dynamic and prove just how much they long to be loved for who they are. Encanto shows that everyone is important and deserves to be treated with respect and patience. I totally agree. I love the story behind the Encanto, movie. Everything, at least the story, the moral of the story was very positive, in the background. Exactly what it says. It shows that everyone is important and deserves to be treated with respect and patience. And the graphics was great. It is one of the newer Disney movies, so obviously graphics are going to be a little bit better than the old ones from back then. So let's move on. Coming in at number 8, The Incredibles. An incredible movie. You see what I did there? The Incredibles showed another side of superheroes. So number 8, The Incredibles was a breakout hit when it first arrived in theaters. Fans love The Incredibles for its unique look at the daily lives of superheroes who live in the suburbs. The movie is full of cool action sequences and endlessly quotable dialogue for both kids and adults. Additionally, The Incredibles proves that it's not necessary for filmmakers to only focus on one character as the protagonist. Instead, The Incredibles centers around all four of the parts as they grow into their powers, come to terms with their new normal, and live like every other family. The central mystery is also enticing for fans who love solving puzzles. The first thing that I think of with The Incredibles is Frozone, right? Tell me not, tell me not. The first thing that comes to my mind is, where is my super suit? That's one of the most iconic lines in a movie that I'm pretty sure every single person in this world knows. Coming in at number 7, The Lion King. And I'm shocked that The Lion King is not higher. And I'm sure a lot of people can agree. But at number 7, The Lion King was an unexpected hit. And let me tell you a little bit more. The Lion King became an unexpected smash when it was released. Many executives thought Pocahontas would outperform the animal-centric story, but they were wrong. The Lion King's powerful message of unconditional love and acceptance made for one of the most universally beloved movies. The Lion King's tale of redemption and forgiveness rings true even today. Plus, the soundtrack of some of the most gorgeous and moving music from a Disney film. The Lion King is one of the most recognizable Disney films and has spawned several remakes, spin-offs, and adaptations. I don't know if I totally agree with The Lion King being at number 7. You know, super iconic, probably one of the most iconic classic Disney movies out there. A lot of you guys could probably agree. Maybe you guys don't. But me personally, I probably put Lion King in the top 3. So it's at number 7, according to CBR.com. So let's move on to number 6, Frozen. And I can see why Frozen is on this top 10 list, because Frozen was probably like the most popular movie that year that it came out. Frozen topped the charts. Frozen is a unique tale of sisterly bonds that took the world by storm when it was first released. The movie was so popular that the songs were regularly featured on the radio. Frozen subverted the traditional genre-defining tropes by having the two sisters need each other rather than a love interest. And they're not wrong about that. Like, there's a lot of movies out there that there's always a romantic storyline behind the storyline. There's always something that has to do with love, with a partner or whatever. I think this is so unique because it was a story about, well, part of the story was about this love that this other sister had for the other sister. You know, it really shows that sibling bond that, you know, a lot of us want. You know what I mean? I know that me and my siblings, we have some sort of a similar type of bond. You know, in our way, everybody has their own ways of bond, but their songs are like was hits. You know what I mean? Like everybody was singing them. Adults, men were singing it. You know what I mean? So the movie's songs topped the Billboard 100 charts, and Let It Go even won a Grammy for the best song written for visual media. Frozen is fun and refreshing as it brings the Disney princess into the modern age. Totally agree with that. You know, when you think of Disney princesses, you automatically think of Cinderella, Snow White, and, you know, all the classics, right? And I guess, you know, for Elsa, you know, this Disney princess, even Anna, you know, it definitely modernizes that princess look, you know, especially with their songs in the movie. It definitely deserves to have a place on this top 10 list. So we're going with number 5, The Little Mermaid. Another Disney movie that has so much iconic songs to it that everybody knows. The Little Mermaid began the Disney Renaissance. The Little Mermaid is a beloved film that began the great Disney Renaissance of the 1990s. Although it came out in 1989, The Little Mermaid ushered in a new era of Disney films filled with dynamic characters and powerful music and made Disney films popular again. While the story of The Little Mermaid does not hold up well in the eyes of modern viewers, it is still adored by many for having one of the most iconic Disney villains of all time, Ursula. The Little Mermaid is a staple Disney movie that has seen spin-offs, sequels, and remakes. Like I said, man, The Little Mermaid, iconic songs, iconic characters, especially Ursula, Flounder, you know, what's the crab's name again? I forgot the crab's name, but, you know, of course, Ariel, and like just the whole shebang. It was such a good movie. I mean, yes, I know its storyline, you know, is a little, you know what I mean, like on the dark side, but what Disney movie doesn't have a dark storyline? You can't disagree with that. So coming in at number 4, Beauty and the Beast. The Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture, if you guys didn't know that. Beauty and the Beast is a more serious tale of finding love in unlikely places. Belle and the Beast are complete opposites. Well, of course, she's a human being and he's a beast. but they somehow find enough common ground to develop feelings for each other and learn to love each other for exactly who they are. Beauty and the Beast is loved for its fun and eccentric characters and its amazing songs. Plus, the ballroom dance scene has become one of the most recognizable dance sequences in cinema history. Beauty and the Beast gathered such high praise when it was released that it was nominated for Best Picture, not Best Animated Picture, Best Picture. And that speaks huge volumes in the movie industry. So just for that, that should be in the top 3, probably top 2. You know what I'm saying? But it's number 4 on this list. So let's go with number 3. Number 3, probably one of my favorite movies of all time, Toy Story. So Toy Story was groundbreaking. Pixar's Toy Story was the very first film to be completely computer generated. Although it was made in the 90s, it still holds up relatively well to today's technology standards. This is a testament to show how much effort went into making not just a quality film, but a film that would stand the test of time. The story of a boy and his toys is both endearing and heart-wrenching. Watching Andy put Woody and other toys aside for Buzz reminds fans of times when they have felt left out. Toy Story told a relatable, touching story through the 4 films. By the end of Toy Story 4, fans had grown up with Andy, who was leaving for college. Toy Story is so iconic that it was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Toy Story is such a, down to earth, like, it is a kid film, but it's such a heartwarming story, just a simple story too. Simple story of a kid and his toys. You know what I mean? And then there's like underlying stories underneath the actual story with these characters of these toys and Woody and Buzz. You know what I mean? So I totally agree. This can be in the top 3, which is number 3. So we're going to move on to the final 2. The number 2 movie, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. I wasn't a big fan of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, but, it's a classic, so we'll see what they have to say. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs was the very first full-length Disney animated feature film. Although Disney had produced animated shorts for years, Snow White was the first time the company had done a full-length production. The results were a smashing success, as Snow White eventually won a specialized honorary Academy Award. Snow White was the film that started it all. It was the first Disney animated film, the first Disney princess movie, and it began a new age of children's entertainment. The beautiful music and fun characters also helped to solidify Snow White as an iconic Disney film. And so with me not personally liking Snow White all that much, every other movie on this list I'd probably put over Snow White. But after reading the description and reading everything that Snow White has, I guess, done or started in the Disney industry, I can see why this is the number 2 movie. Because it was a good storyline too. They have great characters. That the doors were great. The Snow White was great. Like, great movie overall. Me personally, not number 2, but according to this list, number 2. And last but not least, we're gonna get to the number 1 movie of all time in Disney, the most iconic movie ever, Cinderella. Obviously, Cinderella had to make this list. The story of Cinderella is pretty much synonymous with Disney and fairy tales. Everyone knows the tale of an orphan girl who is worked to the bone by her evil stepmother and stepsisters. Plus, Cinderella's dress has been used for decades as the blueprint for all ball gowns. Cinderella is such a big part of the collective consciousness that people often use the word Cinderella in the place of princess. Additionally, Cinderella's castle is the focal building of Disney World Park. With such memorable music, beautiful animation, and real-world presence, Cinderella has become the most iconic Disney property. And they're not wrong about that. They're not wrong about that. Cinderella is literally everywhere. That's like probably one of the first things that you think about when you bring up Disney, when you go to Disneyland or Disney World, I meant. So a lot of you guys didn't know that a castle at Disneyland is not Cinderella's castle. In fact, the castle at Disney World is Cinderella's castle. The one at Disneyland in California is Sleeping Beauty's castle. So there's your fun fact for you guys on this episode. Disneyland castle, Sleeping Beauty. Disney World castle, Cinderella's. But I totally can agree that Cinderella can be the #1 movie of the most iconic Disney movies ever. It's probably not my #1, but I totally agree with everything that Cinderella has influenced in this animation, movie of Disney and Pixar and all that stuff. Like, I totally agree with Cinderella being the #1. So we're coming to an end of this podcast, guys. If you guys like this episode, I appreciate you guys coming through. Comment down below some of your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about the top 10 list according to CBR.com. If you guys have your own top 10, comment down below. Let me see what your guys' list is, and I'll reply back to see if I agree or not. So let me shout out to a lot of the sponsors that we got. We got Shure Mic, we got Logitech Camera, we got CyberPower PC, we got this desk from the Junkyard. Shout out to the Junkyard for sponsoring this table that I'm doing this podcast on. But nah, guys, I appreciate you guys coming through. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Let's go.